The world around the Frasers is changing fast, and there is no way to stop it. What once felt like a quiet life is now filled with fear, tension, and the constant threat of violence. The American Revolution is no longer just talk among men in uniforms or whispers in town halls. It is here, breathing down their necks, forcing everyone to pick a side whether they are ready or not. The land that once gave them peace is now turning into a battlefield, and every decision carries a heavy price. Jamie Fraser stands at the center of this storm, but this is not a position he ever truly wanted. He understands war better than most, and that is exactly why he fears it. He knows what muskets can do, how quickly a single shot can destroy lives, families, and futures. Yet, even with that knowledge, he cannot walk away. There is a responsibility on his shoulders, not just as a leader, but as a man who people trust. Men look to him for guidance, for strength, and for hope. But inside, Jamie knows that hope is becoming harder to hold onto. The tension is not just on the battlefield. It is in every conversation, every glance, every quiet moment where people wonder who they can trust. Neighbors who once shared meals now stand on opposite sides. Friends begin to question each other. Loyalty becomes uncertain, and fear begins to control decisions. This kind of war is not just fought with weapons, it is fought in the hearts of people. And that is what makes it even more dangerous. As the sound of muskets grows louder, the line between safety and danger disappears. There is no clear place to hide anymore. Even the strongest walls cannot keep war out forever. Jamie knows that every step he takes could lead him closer to losing everything he loves. But turning away is not an option. The fight is coming, whether he is ready or not. And in the middle of all this chaos, there is one truth that cannot be ignored. Once the first shot is fired, nothing will ever be the same again. The war is no longer a distant rumor, it has arrived at the Fraser home, creeping into every corner of daily life. Smoke drifts from nearby skirmishes, carrying with it the acrid smell of gunpowder and fear. Villagers who once shared laughter now whisper in shadows, casting suspicious glances at each other, unsure who will betray whom first. The air is thick with tension, and every step outside feels like walking through a minefield. The calm of past seasons has been replaced by unpredictability, and even the most ordinary moments are charged with danger. Markets and streets once alive with chatter are now lined with soldiers and armed men. Their presence a constant reminder that freedom comes at a cost. And that cost is measured in lives. Jamie walks among the men, feeling the weight of leadership, heavier than ever. Every decision he makes could mean life or death. His gaze scans the horizon, noting the positions of loyalists and rebels alike, trying to anticipate attacks before they come. Even in quiet moments, his mind races with strategies and worst-case scenarios. The responsibility of keeping his people alive, of ensuring that families like his own survive, presses on him relentlessly. Friends once taken for granted must now be relied on for their courage. And enemies are no longer strangers, they are neighbors, sometimes even kin. Forced into opposing sides, the lines of morality blur as survival becomes paramount, and Jamie is forced to navigate a world where the right choice is rarely clear. Meanwhile, the local communities are beginning to fracture under the pressure of war. Supply lines are disrupted, food is scarce, and every resource feels like a lifeline that could vanish at any moment. Families hide what they can, stockpile essentials, and prepare for the inevitable sieges and raids. Fear whispers through kitchens and parlors alike. The mundane tasks of life now a struggle against the encroaching chaos. Even the landscape feels different. The forests that once offered solace now conceal dangers. The rivers that once provided comfort now mirror the smoke, and fire spreading across the land. Every familiar path holds uncertainty, and even the simplest journey to a neighbor's home carries the risk of encountering armed patrols or unexpected violence. Amid all this, the soldiers themselves show the human cost of the conflict. Faces streaked with dirt and blood, eyes hollow with exhaustion and grief. They march forward with orders that may contradict their hearts. Each musket shot is a reminder that survival is fragile, that courage is tested constantly, and that every action has consequences far beyond the battlefield. Jamie watches them with a mixture of respect and dread, knowing that even the bravest men can falter when the weight of war becomes unbearable. Civilians, caught in the crossfire, are forced into impossible decisions. Whom to trust, how to protect loved ones, and when to flee or fight. The boundaries of right and wrong are redrawn with every encounter, and the simple moral certainties of peace vanish under the pressure of survival. Claire, too, feels the strain as she moves through this world of uncertainty. Wounded soldiers arrive at her door, each one a story of tragedy and loss. She must make split-second decisions about who can be saved, often working with limited supplies and dwindling time. Every patient is a reminder that the war is personal, that the suffering extends beyond the fields and forts and into the hearts of everyone she loves. Even in the small acts of healing, Claire senses the larger threat closing in, a force that no amount of skill or knowledge can fully shield them from. As smoke rises in the distance and muskets crack in the fields, the Fraser family realizes that their world has changed forever, and they must adapt or risk losing everything to a war that shows no mercy. The stakes have never been higher. Every choice, every glance, every whispered plan could tilt the fragile balance between life and death. Trust is currency, courage is survival, and the Fraser family must navigate a world where every step is shadowed by uncertainty. The revolution has arrived at their doorstep, and the fight is no longer abstracted, is immediate, relentless, and unavoidable. Every heartbeat, every decision, and every act of bravery is now measured against the ticking clock of an unforgiving war that threatens to consume everyone in its path. Jamie's role in this growing conflict is becoming more complicated than ever. He is no longer just a man defending his home. He is a leader, a strategist, and a father forced to make decisions that weigh heavily on his conscience. Every move he makes is calculated, every plan considered with care. Yet the unpredictability of war constantly tests his resolve. He must balance the demands of the militia with the safety of his family, knowing that a single misstep could cost lives. The tension of command gnaws at him, keeping sleep just out of reach and thoughts of what could go wrong ever present. The weight of responsibility is crushing, but retreat is not an option. The Fraser family's survival and the trust of those who look to him for guidance depends on his courage and wisdom. Meanwhile, Claire's role in this chaotic world continues to expand in ways she never imagined. Her hands are busy tending to wounds, yet her mind races with worry for Jamie and the people who depend on her. She faces impossible choices: who to save when resources are scarce, when time is too short, when every decision carries consequences. Her medical skill is only part of what is required. She must also navigate the emotional strain of watching people she cares about suffer. Every soldier, every neighbor, every family member she encounters is a reminder that the war is personal, that the battle is not just on the field, but in hearts and minds. She becomes a pillar of strength, a source of calm in the storm. But even she cannot ignore the fear and uncertainty that surrounds them. Outside the Fraser home, tensions continue to rise in the surrounding settlements. German mercenaries, often called Hessians, move through the countryside with precision, their unfamiliar language and strict discipline adding another layer of fear and mistrust. Civilians who once lived in relative safety now find themselves caught between armies, unsure of who to trust and who might betray them. The presence of these foreign soldiers introduces cultural friction and raises questions about loyalty and survival. Even simple acts, sharing food, helping a neighbor, or hiding someone in need carry enormous risk. Every encounter is a test of judgment and courage, and no one is immune from the consequences of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. The landscape itself mirrors the tension in people's hearts. Forests that once offered shelter now conceal danger. Paths that were familiar are lined with armed patrols. And fields that provided sustenance now echo with gunfire. Nature, once a source of comfort, becomes another character in this story of survival. Unpredictable and unforgiving. Rivers, forests, and hills are no longer just scenery, they are obstacles, hiding spots, and potential traps. The world that once felt secure is now a maze of peril, and every step is measured against the fear of ambush or surprise attack. The very ground beneath their feet carries the weight of uncertainty, reminding everyone that nothing in this war is permanent or safe. Amidst the chaos, betrayal and shifting allegiances are constant threats. Friends may be forced to choose sides, neighbors may act out of fear, and spies could be anywhere, listening and reporting. Jamie and Claire must read every gesture, every word, every glance for hidden meaning. No one is entirely trustworthy, and even the kindest heart could be hiding a dangerous secret. The uncertainty makes every interaction a test of judgment and every decision a gamble. Survival depends not only on bravery and skill,